The alarm screams. It is Monday morning. You hit snooze. Twice. Maybe 3 times. You drag yourself out of bed, your body heavy with the weight of the weekend's exhaustion and the week's impending dread. You shuffle to the kitchen. You pour coffee. You check your phone. And immediately the panic sets in. I don't have time. It is the mantra of the modern age. We say it when we decline a dinner invitation. We say it when we skip the gym. We say it when we leave our children's homework unchecked. We say it when we stare at the blank page of our dreams knowing we will not write today. I don't have time. It feels like a fact. It feels like an immutable law of physics as real as gravity. There are only 24 hours in a day. 7 days in a week. The demands of work, family, and life are infinite. Therefore, time is scarce. Therefore, we are victims. But what if I told you that this feeling is a lie? What if I told you that you have more time than you think? What if I told you that the problem is not a lack of hours, but a lack of intention? Laura Vanderkam, in her revolutionary book 168 Hours, shatters the myth of time scarcity. She points to a simple mathematical truth that we often forget in the haze of our busy lives. There are 168 hours in every single week. For everyone. For Bill Gates. For Barack Obama. For the single mother working 2 jobs. For you. 168 hours. If you sleep for 8 hours a night, that is 56 hours. 168 minus 56 leaves 112 hours. If you work 40 hours a week, that leaves 72 hours. 72 hours. That is 3 full days. 3 entire days of waking life every single week that are yours to command. Yours to design. Yours to fill with what matters most. So where do those 72 hours go? They disappear into the fog of distraction. They leak away in half-hour increments of social media scrolling, in commute time spent fuming, in chores done inefficiently, in television watched out of habit rather than joy. They vanish because we do not track them. We do not see them. And because we do not see them, we cannot manage them. 168 Hours is not just a time management book. It is a perception shift. It is a call to stop complaining about the lack of time and start auditing the abundance of it. It is a guide to reclaiming your life, 1 hour at a time. We are going to walk through the principles of Vanderkam's method. We will learn how to track our time, how to think in weeks instead of days, and how to build a life that is not just productive, but meaningful. Stop saying you don't have to. Start looking at your 168 hours. Chapter 1. The myth of no time. Let's look at the numbers. Because numbers don't lie. Emotions do. We feel busy. We feel overwhelmed. Our calendars are color-coded mosaics of obligation. But when we actually sit down and log our hours, a different story emerges. Vanderkam asks her clients to keep a time log. Not a to-do list. A log. Every 30 minutes they write down what they did. And almost universally, the results are shocking. People who claim they don't have time to exercise are spending 10 hours a week watching Netflix. People who claim they don't have time to read are spending 5 hours a week scrolling through Instagram. People who claim they don't have time to cook healthy meals are spending hours driving around looking for takeout or waiting in line. This is not to shame you. It is to wake you up. We are not victims of time. We are architects of it, and right now we are building houses of straw. The first step to change is awareness. You cannot fix what you do not measure. Most of us have a vague sense of how we spend our time. We think we work 60 hours. We think we sleep 8 hours. But our perceptions are flawed. We overestimate our productivity and underestimate our distractions. By tracking your time, you bring the subconscious into the conscious. You see the leaks. You see the waste. And once you see it, you can plug it. But tracking is not enough. You must also shift your perspective. Chapter 2. Think in weeks, not days. We live our lives in daily chunks. We wake up, we survive the day, we go to sleep. We judge our success by whether we cleared our inbox by 5 p.m., whether we got to the gym before dinner. This daily mindset is a trap. Some days are chaotic. Kids get sick. Meetings run late. Traffic jams happen. If you judge your life by the day, you will constantly feel like you are failing. You will feel like you never have enough time. But life is not lived in days. It is lived in weeks. A week is a complete unit of time. It contains workdays and weekends. It contains busy mornings and quiet evenings. It contains the rhythm of life. When you think in weeks, you gain flexibility. If you didn't get to the gym on Tuesday, you can go on Thursday. If you didn't have time to cook on Wednesday, you can meal prep on Sunday. If you missed a deadline on Monday, you can catch up on Friday. The week allows for balance. It allows for ebb and flow. Vanderkam suggests that you plan your life in weekly blocks. Look at the 168 hours as a whole. Where do you want to put your big rocks? Work, 40-50 hours. Sleep, 56 hours. Family/friends, 20 hours. Exercise, 5 hours. Hobbies, chores, 10 hours. Do the math. It fits. It always fits. The problem is not the container. The problem is how we fill it. When you zoom out to the weekly view, the daily emergencies shrink. They become manageable blips in a larger, controlled narrative. You stop reacting to the moment and start designing the week. Chapter 3. The time audit. Seeing is believing. So, how do you start? You conduct a time audit. For 1 week, track everything you do. Vanderkam provides a simple method. You can use a spreadsheet, a notebook, or an app. The tool doesn't matter. The consistency does. Divide your day into 30-minute blocks. At the end of each block, write down what you did. Be honest. Be specific. 7:00 Slept, snoozed. 7:38:00 Scrolled Twitter in bed. Showered and dressed 8:39:00 9:30. Checked email 9:30 10:00. Meeting. Do not judge yourself as you track. Just observe. You are a scientist studying a specimen. Yourself. At the end of the week, categorize your activities. Work, sleep, chores, family, leisure, waste. Look at the totals. Where did your 168 hours go? You might be surprised to find that you spent 15 hours on leisure that didn't feel leisurely. You scrolled mindlessly. You watched shows you didn't enjoy. You sat in traffic fuming. This is bad time. Time that neither restored you nor advanced your goals. Identify these pockets. These are your opportunities. You don't need to find extra hours. You just need to reclaim the ones you are throwing away. Chapter 4. Core competencies. Outsource the rest. Once you see where your time goes, you can make strategic choices. Vanderkam introduces the concept of core competencies. What are you uniquely good at? What do you love doing? What drives your career and your joy? These are your core competencies. You should spend the majority of your waking hours on these things. Everything else is non-core. Laundry, cleaning, grocery shopping, basic admin. If you earn $50 an hour and you spend 5 hours a week cleaning your house, you are effectively paying $250 to clean your house. Could you hire someone to do it for $100? If so, you have saved $150 in 5 hours. We often cling to non-core tasks because we think we are saving money, or because we feel guilty, or because we think no one else can do it right. But your time is valuable. Your energy is finite. If you can afford to outsource, do it. Hire a cleaner. Use a grocery delivery service. Automate your bills. If you cannot afford to outsource, streamline. Batch your chores. Cook in bulk. Simplify your wardrobe. The goal is to minimize the time spent on non-core tasks so you can maximize the time spent on core tasks. Stop trying to do it all. Do what matters. Delegate the rest. Chapter 5. The power of small moments. We often think that to do something meaningful, we need large blocks of time. We think we need 4 hours to write, 2 hours to exercise, a whole day to connect with family. But large blocks are rare. Life is fragmented. Vanderkam argues that we can build a rich life in small moments. You don't need an hour to exercise. You need 15 minutes, 3 times a day. You don't need a weekend to connect with your partner. You need 15 minutes of focused conversation every evening. You don't need a month to learn a skill. You need 20 minutes a day. These small moments add up. 15 minutes of exercise twice a day is 3.5 hours a week. That is enough to stay fit. 15 minutes of reading twice a day is 3.5 hours a week. That is enough to read 50 books a year. Stop waiting for the perfect block of time. It will never come. Use the margins. The commute. The wait in line. The lunch break. Fill these small moments with intention. Listen to an audiobook. Call a friend. Meditate. Life is not made of grand gestures. It is made of tiny, consistent actions. Chapter 6. Designing your ideal week. Now that you have tracked your time, identified your core competencies, and recognized the power of small moments, it is time to Vanderkam suggests creating an ideal week calendar. Take a blank weekly grid. First, block in your non-negotiables. Sleep, 56 hours. Work, 40-50 hours. Commute now. Look at the remaining space. This is your discretionary time. Block in your priorities. Exercise. When will you move? Family. When will you connect? Hobbies. When will you create? Friends. When will you socialize? Be specific. Tuesday 7 p.m. Date night. Thursday 6 a.m. run. Sunday 10 a.m. church. Treat these appointments with the same respect as a work meeting. Do not cancel them. Do not let them slide. Then fill in the gaps with chores and admin. This is your blueprint. It is not a rigid prison. It is a guide. Some weeks will deviate. That is okay. But when you have a plan, you can return to center. You know what matters. You know where your time should go. Without a plan, you drift. With a plan, you steer. Chapter 7. The weekend reset. The weekend is not... It is a strategic opportunity. Many people waste their weekends. They sleep in. They binge-watch TV. They do nothing. And then they feel guilty. Or they spend the entire weekend catching up on chores, leaving no time for rest. Vanderkam suggests using the weekend to reset for the week ahead. Friday evening. Disconnect from work. Transition. Do something fun. Mark the boundary between work and life. Saturday. Connection. Joy. Go on a trip. Visit friends. Pursue a hobby. This is your time for enrichment. Fill your cup. Sunday. Preparation. Meal prep. Lay out clothes. Review your calendar. Plan your highlights. Spend an hour getting ready for the week. This reduces stress on Monday morning. It gives you a head start. By structuring your weekend, you ensure that you rest and prepare. You avoid the Sunday scaries. You start Monday with momentum. Chapter 8. Overcoming the guilt. One of the biggest barriers to managing time is guilt. We feel guilty when we rest. We feel guilty when we say no. We feel guilty when we outsource. We have been conditioned to believe that busyness is virtue, that suffering is noble. But burnout is not a badge of honor. It is a failure of management. Rest is productive. Joy is productive. Connection is productive. When you rest, you recharge. You become more effective in your work hours. When you connect with family, you build support systems that sustain you. When you pursue hobbies, you cultivate creativity that spills over into your career. Let go of the guilt. You are not lazy when you rest. You are strategic. You are not selfish when you prioritize your joy. You are sustainable. Give yourself permission to live a full life, not just a productive one. Chapter 9. The role of technology. Technology is a double-edged sword. It can save time. It can steal it. Social media. These tools demand our attention. They fragment our focus. Vanderkam suggests setting boundaries. Batch communication. Check email only 3 times a day. Morning, noon, evening. Turn off notifications. Do not let your phone dictate your rhythm. Digital Sabbaths. Take 1 day a week offline, or even just 4 hours. Reconnect with the physical world. Read a book. Talk to people face to face. Curate your input. Unsubscribe from newsletters you don't read. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate. Protect your mental space. Technology should serve you, not enslave you. Chapter 10.
Finding time for what matters most. Ultimately, 168 hours is not about...
It is about making room for what matters. For many, what matters is family. Vanderkam shares stories of parents who thought they didn't have time for their kids. But when they tracked their time, they found they were spending hours on low-value activities. They shifted that time to playing with their children, reading to them, talking to them. For others, what matters is health. They found time to cook, to exercise, to sleep. For others, what matters is creativity. They found time to write, to paint, to build. The time was always there. It was just hidden. By uncovering it, you unlock your potential. You build a life that aligns with your values. You stop surviving. You start thriving. A cinematic vision of the 168-hour life. Imagine it is Sunday evening. You are sitting on your porch. The sun is setting. The air is cool. You look back on your week. You worked hard. You achieved your goals. But you also ran 5 miles. You had dinner with your best friend. You read 3 chapters of a book. You played with your dog. You slept 8 hours every night. You feel rested. You feel fulfilled. You feel in control. You look at your calendar for next week. It is balanced. It has space for work, yes, but it also has space for life. You smile. You realize that you are not a victim of time. You are its master. You have 168 hours, and you are using them well. Reflection and interaction. Now it is your turn. I challenge you to conduct a time audit. For the next 7 days, track your time. Every 30 minutes. Be honest. Be brave. At the end of the week, look at the data. Where are your leaks? Where are your opportunities? Share one surprise from your audit in the comments. I spent hours on activity. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's reveal the truth about our time. Because once you see it, you can change it. Deep dive. The psychology of time perception. Why do we feel like we have no time, even when we do? Psychologists call this time famine. It is a subjective feeling of scarcity. It is caused by stress, by multitasking, by lack of control. When we are stressed, time seems to speed up. We feel rushed. When we are bored, time seems to slow down. By taking control of your schedule, you reduce stress. You increase autonomy. And paradoxically, time seems to expand. When you are present, when you are focused, you experience time more fully. You remember it better. A week filled with varied, meaningful experiences feels longer than a week of repetitive drudgery. So, fill your 168 hours with variety, with novelty, with meaning, and you will feel like you have all the time in the world. Final words. The gift of hours. You have 168 hours. They are a gift, a recurring weekly gift. How will you unwrap them? Will you let them slip away in a blur of distraction? Or will you open them with intention? With care? With purpose? The choice is yours.
Stop saying you don't have time.
Start counting your hours. Start designing your week. Start living your life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tracking. Now go. Your 168 hours are waiting. Make them count.